We're diving into the juicy Automattic versus WP Engine feud, plus a packed calendar of events like Everything Open in Adelaide and DrupalCon in Singapore. Drupal's new Starshot initiative is rolling out a fresh design system, and Drupal CMS version 1 is set to make site building faster and simpler than ever. Let's dive in. The no-code revolution in Drupal. First up, accessibility. While no-code tools aren't new to the web, Drupal's stepping up to bring this power to open source. Imagine creating a whole new site on Drupal with zero coding, something that's only just becoming a reality for this platform. It's a big leap, opening Drupal to more people than ever before. Next, inclusivity. And here's where the DDD conferences shine. Now, DDD stands for Developers, Developers, Developers.
Developers, 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 developers.
And it's all about creating welcoming spaces for everyone, from rookies to pros. The Perth event just wrapped up, but there's more coming. DDD Adelaide on November 23, Brisbane on December 2nd, and Melbourne on February 22. These gatherings offer a real chance to dive in, learn, and get hands-on. So what's next for open source fans worldwide? Here's a taste of what 2025's calendar has in store. Alright open source fans, 2025's Oceanic calendar is stacked. We've got Everything Open in Adelaide tackling AI and digital ethics, and DrupalCon Singapore giving us all no-code Drupal CMS, and FOSSASIA in Jakarta putting open source to work in education and government. And for those who want to dive in, the Global Contribution Weekend in Warsaw has your hands-on fix. But before we jump into these events, let's take a look at the drama that's sparking some big debates across the CMS world. Alright, here's a showdown shaking up the CMS space. Automattic and WP Engine are clashing in a major way, and it's about much more than just a corporate dispute. So, could this WordPress debate foreshadow challenges for Drupal? Well, here's what's happening. Automattic claims that WP Engine is infringing on the WordPress trademark. Meanwhile, WP Engine is hitting back with a lawsuit accusing Automattic of monopolizing the ecosystem and taking too much control. It's a classic power struggle, and it raises big questions for all open source communities about who really holds the keys. So, why should the Drupal community be paying attention? Well, this isn't just a WordPress issue. It highlights a key challenge in open source governance, the risk of corporations holding too much influence. Automattic's central role in WordPress's ecosystem has led to what some call a maker-taker problem, where certain companies benefit from the open source platform without contributing back equally. This is creating long-term sustainability concerns. It's a reminder for the open source community to stay vigilant about balancing growth and maintaining healthy collaborative ecosystems. Are you curious to dive deeper? Well, I've got a video that explores how Drupal's model compares to WordPress's governance and what this means for the future of open source. The link is in the show notes, so be sure to check it out and join the conversation, because how we govern open source could shape its future for all of us. Alright, so we've seen how these high stakes governance battles play out in the WordPress world with Automattic and WP Engine. Now let's shift gears and take a closer look at Drupal's approach. Alright, let's check out what makes Drupal's governance tick. Tim Doyle, the CEO of the Drupal Association, just broke it down in a post sharing how Drupal's structure keeps things balanced and community focused. Here's the deal. Drupal's governance model spreads decision-making power. Founder Dries Buytaert designed it so no single person or company can steer the ship alone. Instead, authority is shared among a committed team and a non-profit Drupal association, which oversees everything from Drupal.org to community resources. It keeps Drupal stable and independent. Now, a key point that Tim made is that no single supporter can influence Drupal. Funding comes from a wide range of individuals and companies, making it truly community-driven. Plus, even though Dries still holds the Drupal trademark, he's licensed it to the association, which ensures the brand stays open source without commercial pressure. Another standout is Drupal's way of tackling the maker-taker problem. Companies benefiting from open source without giving back. Now, the association's certified partner program now highlights those who contribute back, boosting fairness across the community. So what does this mean for us? It's a reminder that open source governance can be both independent and resilient, a model that protects the project's future by staying true to its roots. And speaking of the future of open source funding, let's shift our focus to a big milestone for the Sovereign Tech Fund and what it's doing to support open source communities worldwide. Alright, let's talk about the Sovereign Tech Fund, a total game changer in the open source world. The Sovereign Tech Fund is working behind the scenes to keep digital infrastructure strong and secure. If this is your first time hearing about it, then here's the scoop. It's backed by Germany's Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Climate Action. Its mission is to sustain the open source tools that we all rely on, even if we don't always realise it. In just 2 years, the fund has invested over 23 million euros into more than 60 open source projects. These projects cover essentials like security and ongoing maintenance. We're talking big names like Apache Log4j or Systemd, which is used across most Linux distributions, and Sequoia PGP for secure encryption. And the impact doesn't stop there. The Sovereign Tech Fund is funding Cyclone DX Rust for supply chain security and NTPDRS for time synchronization. These tools are quietly powering the web and so much more. They're the backbone of our connected world.
But there's still more.
The Sovereign Tech Fund also launched a bug resilience program. Now, this program pays developers to find and fix bugs before they can cause problems. And the fund supports open source maintainers directly with its Fellowship for Maintainers.
But I know you want more.
Well, this year, the Drupal Association secured a $300,000 grant from the Sovereign Tech Fund. This grant supports 2 key projects: developer tools acceleration and community supply chain security. These efforts make Drupal development faster, smoother, and more secure, which is big wins for everyone using or building with Drupal.
This is truly an amazing offer.
Okay, so why does the Sovereign Tech Fund matter? Because it's safeguarding the open source tools that we all depend on. From government websites to our daily online activities, this fund is protecting the digital infrastructure that we all take for granted. And they're just getting started. Alright folks, grab a coffee or maybe a double shot because 2025 is packed with events, innovation and open source updates. Imagine an event where the latest advancements in AI meet open source solutions for justice and accessible tech for everyone. That's Everything Open 2025. This conference isn't just another tech gathering, it's where big ideas connect with real world change. Heading over to Jakarta, FOSSASIA's Open Tech Summit is making waves on November 25 and 26. This summit is all about using open source to transform everyday life across Southeast Asia. So why tune in? Well, this event is a who's who of open source influence. You'll hear directly from leaders at GovTech EDU, Gojek Indonesia, Delivery Hero, and Nutanix Indonesia, sharing how open source tools are shaping industries across Southeast Asia. Alright, let's pause for a sec. Yes, I know, it's a lot. And believe it or not, this is only the beginning. Who knew open source communities had such packed schedules? I'm just giving you a taste here, so if you want a full breakdown in another video, let me know because there's a lot happening. Looking for a chance to connect, contribute and make a difference? These next events are where open source communities come together to learn, share and create something big. Now here's a big one everyone's buzzing about, DrupalCon Singapore. It's running in December 9 to 11 and it's the first DrupalCon in Asia in 6 years and it's a major event. To top it off, Dries Buitenhut, Drupal's founder, will deliver the Dries Note keynote. Think of it as a State of Drupal address. You'll get insights on the future of Drupal with updates on everything from AI-driven content management to the latest UI innovations in Drupal 10. And a dedicated panel with the Starshot team will break down what's coming in Drupal 11 and 12. And for the hands-on folks, the Contribution Day is your chance to roll up your sleeves while the new Splash Awards celebrate top contributors from Asia Pacific. What's got you most excited about DrupalCon Singapore? Drop a comment if you're planning to attend or let me know the topics you'd love covered. Mark your calendars for January 25 and 26, 2025 because the Global Contribution Weekend is back, with the main event happening in Warsaw at Warsaw Tower, Europe's tallest building. It's a hands-on opportunity to contribute to Drupal core, modules and documentation, open to everyone from seasoned developers to first-time contributors. Since 2013, Drupal enthusiasts worldwide have gathered in January to make a difference together. Now, here's the thing. So far, we haven't found any confirmed virtual meetings or guidance on how to register new events. So if you're interested in getting involved, especially here in Australia, reach out to the community. We can help explore ways to get you connected. And a fun fact, Australia often hosts its own contribution days around DrupalSouth each year. It could be that time zone differences make global days a bit tricky for us, but if you're keen to contribute, there are ways to get involved locally too. Check out the show notes for registration details on the Warsaw event and let us know in the comments if you're planning to participate or if you'd like help finding or organising a contribution event in your area. Still with me? Wow, that's dedication. Trust me, you're not alone if you're thinking, how many events are there?
And I just would like to know if you know what a plethora is.
But hey, it just shows how alive and kicking open source is these days. And this isn't even all of it. There's more that we had to skip just to keep this manageable. So if you want a deep dive, hit me up in the comments and maybe I'll do an extended edition. Alright, now let's do a quick highlight reel for regional events, because if we went through every single one, we'd be here till next year. DrupalCamp Berlin is happening now, with a focus on accessibility and AI. Follow along on LinkedIn or the Drop Times. Florida DrupalCamp is on in Orlando in February. 3 days of workshops, networking and training, perfect for a sunny winter getaway. DrupalCamp NJ is happening in March at Princeton. This one's a staple for the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast crowd. And the Mid-Camp is in Chicago on May 20 to 22 with a warm, welcoming vibe and hands-on workshops. These Drupal camps are where local communities create global impact. Planning on going to one? Let me know below. Alright, if you're still with me, give yourself a high five. Come on! Because we're diving into even more. Consider this part of the home stretch of our open source marathon. We're talking about some heavy hitting events that bring open source into the heart of government and community spaces. Let's get into it. The GovCMS Mega Meetup just wrapped up in Canberra, and it was a standout event for government focused Drupal. First, a big congratulations to Marjorie Tongway, who received the GovCMS Community Spirit Award. Marjorie's been a driving force in the Drupal ecosystem since 2012, and her dedication to GovCMS, from logistics to technical contributions, truly embodies community spirit. Now let's dive into some session highlights. We saw impressive examples like how the Independent Parliamentary Expenses Authority uses GovCMS to bring large data sets to life. There were also deep dives into digital policy and single sign-on solutions, plus an insightful keynote from Services Australia on how content supports people through critical life moments. We even got a fascinating glimpse into the digital transformation journey of the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority. At the DrupalSouth Community Day, the sessions kept the momentum going. Jeannie Panting led a hands-on accessibility session with live demos on making sites more inclusive. Julia Topless captivated the room with a deep dive into schema.org, showing how structured data can boost search visibility and enhance user experiences. And the Content Creators and Drupal panel brought developers and publishers together, bridging the gap and making Drupal work better for everyone. Missed the events? No worries. Photos and more updates will be shared in the community Slack over the next week. And don't forget the GovCMS and DrupalSouth communities stay active year-round with forums, Slack channels, and active meetups. So there are plenty of ways to stay connected and in the loop. So you couldn't make it to Canberra? No worries, because DrupalSouth 2025 is coming to Melbourne and it's set to be huge. This time it's happening at the Australian Centre for the Moving Image, ACMI, in Federation Square from March 12 to 13, with a sprint day on March 11, so mark those dates. Here's the big takeaway. This isn't just any conference. The sessions here are setting the future of Drupal for government, education, and beyond. The ideas, partnerships, and tech solutions sparked at these events are shaping Drupal's next big moves. So whether you're coming from Melbourne, Sydney, Wellington, or beyond, this event's all about driving innovation, tackling challenges, and building connections that last. Alright, ready to dive in? Mark your calendars, keep an eye out for updates, and if you're planning to attend, let me know what you're most excited about. If you're ready to get an inside look at Drupal's future, this is your chance. On November 19, there's a special Ask Me Anything session on the Drupal Experience Builder. And it's not just any Ask Me Anything, it's part of the Starshot initiative, Drupal's ambitious plan to simplify and enhance the platform, making it more accessible than ever for designers, marketers, and site builders. What makes this Ask Me Anything special? You'll hear directly from experts like Christina Camillas, Laurie Timani, and Lenny Moskalik. They will break down what's in store for the Experience Builder, Drupal's new design system, and answer your questions on everything from requirements to release timelines. For my friends in Australia, yes, it does kick off at 2 AM Sydney time, so I understand if you're not exactly bright-eyed and bushy-tailed for it, but don't worry, it will be recorded and shared so you can catch it up over coffee. And if you're joining live, don't forget to bring your questions. This is a rare peek into the Experience Builder that's about to make building and branding with Drupal CMS way easier. Details are in the show notes. Alright folks, we did it. We made it through the biggest events and we're still standing. If you're as excited and maybe a little exhausted as I am, drop a comment below. And if there's an event we missed or one you're especially hyped for, let me know. I think we all earned a breather after that. Do you ever wonder who's shaping the future of Drupal in Australia and New Zealand? The 2024 DrupalSouth Steering Committee elections just wrapped up, and the results are coming in any day now. This election brings fresh voices to guide Drupal's growth across Australia and New Zealand, ensuring that diverse perspectives drive our biggest events. With new leaders on board, the DrupalSouth community is ready for an exciting year ahead, bringing fresh energy to Australia and New Zealand. And with these new leaders stepping up, let's dive into what's next for the Drupal community across Australia and New Zealand. GovCMS has just completed a second round of updates to its digital services panel. This latest expansion adds a fresh group of top suppliers covering digital experience platforms, specialised digital services and more. Here's the benefit. The panel makes procurement simple. Agencies can pick from pre-approved vendors without needing a full tender process. For bigger projects or faster timelines, this is a real time saver. And while using the panel is convenient, it's not required. Agencies can still hire outside the panel for smaller jobs if they choose. But that's not the only news. GovCMS recently showcased its Rules as Code initiative to over 700 attendees. They shared how turning legislative rules into code could streamline workflows across government levels.
So what exactly is Rules as Code? It is a method of turning prescriptive rules into machine-readable code, which is then held in an engine. So once this code has been created and consolidated, an API then be the go-between between the rules engine and the online user interface.
And the response? Attendees saw a big potential for faster, more efficient processes.
But there's more.
The GovCMS Community Investment Board just greenlit new projects. Content as an API has entered the discovery phase, and resilience upgrades are in the works to boost disaster recovery. We'll keep tracking these developments to see how they shape GovCMS. More updates are coming in future episodes. As the driving force for open source collaboration across Australia, Linux Australia champions projects that bring people together to innovate, learn, and share knowledge. But here's the thing. Since June, Linux Australia's website has been pretty quiet, with no major updates on some of their usual programs. However, their mission is still going strong. The Everything Open conference is a prime example of this mission in action, bridging a diverse range of topics like DevOps, open science, and community building. This year's grants program further supports grassroots tech projects with a $10,000 fund ready to boost local initiatives. For anyone passionate about tech and community, Linux Australia's work is a reminder that open source isn't just about code, it's about building connections. And lastly, a quick nod to WordCamps Sydney, which wrapped up on November 3rd after a 5-year hiatus. WordCamp organiser Will Brown shared insights into the planning process. He touched on the challenges and excitement of bringing the WordPress community back together. While detailed post-event reviews are still emerging, keep an eye on the official WordCamp Sydney website and related blogs for recaps and highlights in the coming weeks. So even if the usual updates have slowed down a bit, Linux Australia is clearly staying active. For the latest details on everything open, head over to the official events page, and if you're interested in the grants program, check out the link in the show notes. Ever wonder who the real heroes behind Drupal are? The ones who've gone above and beyond helping to shape it into the platform we know and love today? That's what the Aaron Winborn Award is all about. A chance to honour those community legends who've made a lasting impact through kindness, dedication and service. Now, Aaron Winborn was more than a developer. He was a visionary who saw Drupal's potential to connect and empower people. He helped create tools like the Media Module and Drupal TV, giving the community invaluable resources for learning and growth. Even as he faced ALS, Aaron kept contributing through assistive tech, inspiring everyone around him with his resilience and passion. So what does this award mean? It's more than a trophy. The recipient receives a scholarship and travel support to attend DrupalCon North America, where they'll be celebrated in front of the entire community, true recognition for a true hero. Nominations are open until February 1, 2025. So who do you think deserves this honour? Is there someone who's made your Drupal journey better, or maybe a community member you've seen go the extra mile? We'd love to hear about them, and you can find the nomination details linked in the show notes. Past winners like Kathy Tays, Angie Byron and Mike Anello have shown what it means to serve and uplift the community. Who will be next? With our heroes inspiring us, let us dive into the latest essentials to keep your own project strong and secure. Drupal security updates. Major vulnerabilities addressed across core and contributed modules. First up, a heads up on a highly critical issue with the WK-HTML to PDF module. This one's long been a go-to for generating PDFs, but due to some serious security flaws, it's now unsupported. So if it's on your site, it's time to consider alternatives to avoid data risks. Other must-see patches this month are the two-factor authentication modules. These had vulnerabilities that could let unauthorized users slip into restricted areas of your site. And for facets users, there's a new update to prevent cross-site scripting attacks, a must-have if you're serious about user data security. Now some updates are moderate or lower risk, like block permissions, Gutenberg, SVG embed, and SmartLink connector. But don't overlook them. Even these smaller updates close potential security gaps, making a quick check worth it. So take a few minutes to secure your setup. Small actions like these keep things running smoothly. Staying secure means staying ahead, so be sure to keep updated with our next episode for the latest. Recent module updates bring even more ease and efficiency to content management. The Better Exposed Filters module upgrade introduces smoother filtering and an alert system for missing libraries, making troubleshooting a breeze. And the Views bulk operations has reinstated action permissions, giving you greater control over data management. For linking, Linkit supports Drupal 10 and has an early release for 11, with improved autocomplete for faster content linking. And jCrew UI Date Picker has been enhanced for smoother, bug-free date selection, improving the overall user experience. Finally, updates to block class and entity browser bolster stability for content-heavy sites. This ensures reliable CSS management and efficient library handling. So these updates mean more efficient, accessible tools for everyone, whether you're managing content, styling, or site performance. Are you using any modules that make your life easier in Drupal? Share your favorites in the comments or let us know which ones you'd like tips on. Ready to explore more powerful tools? Up next is the Starshot initiative and its exciting new design system. Alright, here's an exciting opportunity. The Starshot initiative is actually seeking a strategic partner to collaborate on a major project. The design and implementation of a comprehensive design system for the experience builder in Drupal CMS. Here's the game plan. Since this is a big, multi-phase commitment, the work is being divided between design and implementation. The initial phase will bring a Figma-based design library packed with visual patterns, accessibility standards, and brand consistency tools. And then there's phase 2, where developers will turn these designs into reusable components, seamlessly integrating them with Drupal's Experience Builder. This design system is all about making Drupal sites more user-friendly, accessible, and brand consistent for organizations of all types. And with the post-version 1 rollout for Experience Builder, this partnership is a chance to be part of something that's going to transform the way teams work with Drupal CMS. If your team has the experience and passion for creating cutting-edge design systems, here's your opportunity. Alright, here's some exciting news for content creators and marketers. Drupal CMS version 1 is rolling out with a content strategy that's all about getting you up and running fast and easy, and with tools designed to make your job way simpler. Imagine this, you start with pre-built content types specifically for events, articles, projects, and profiles. These are all based on what organizations like yours need most. Each of these types comes with its own recipe, ready-made setups for listing pages, menu links, even default content. So you're not building from scratch. It's structured, it's streamlined, and it means less setup work and more time for creativity. And because we know search visibility is crucial, there's an optional SEO tools recipe built right in. You'll get fields for SEO titles, descriptions, and images for every content type, helping you boost your site's reach without juggling multiple tools. Plus, the flexibility doesn't stop here. Future content types and settings will evolve with input from users like you once version 1 launches. In short, Drupal CMS version 1 is all about making brand consistency and streamlined content creation the norm. Developers, a heads up. The upcoming Drupal 11.1 introduces object-oriented programming hooks, marking significant step forward in cleaner, more modular code. Now, this update simplifies customization and maintenance, helping you build, debug, and collaborate more effectively. It's part of Drupal's broader path to modernizing development practices, giving developers greater flexibility while reducing complexity. Curious about how to start with these hooks? Visit the changelog or community discussions on Slack for details, and join us in embracing this modern framework to enhance Drupal's functionality. With these tools and updates, the Drupal platform keeps getting stronger. For a full roundup of everything happening across the open source community, stay tuned. From open source initiatives right here in Australia and New Zealand to the latest updates across the Drupal ecosystem, it's clear there's a lot happening, and that's shaping the future of open source both locally and globally. Let's keep the momentum going, there's a lot more to come.